What's up, everyone? This is a full in-person lesson with Tyler Schrock. He's a professional who is extremely accurate but needs a little bit of help with distance, so we're going to get him some. Check out FORMERO for all of my virtual lessons. Let's get right into it.
We're just focusing on distance, right? Pretty much
purely.
Yeah. Obviously,
yeah.
we want to keep the accuracy, but just see if we can find a few things to...
Backhand mechanics, I will say when I slow things down, 90+% happy with results.
Yeah.
I don't have many consistent misses. What used to happen is like when I would throw hard, I'd have a slight pull, and I got really good at compensating for it. Like you can just close things out, add angle, things like that.
Yeah.
Now what I'm noticing is when I'm powering up, one, it's just not generally amazing, but I'm getting like either an early left hyzer release or a late low like anhyzer release.
Okay.
Neither of which are good.
Yeah.
So it's got to the point where I'm like steering away from like throwing full power that much like in tournament play, unless there's a lot of room. I'm just inconsistent. I'm getting a lot more misses. And normally I could power up, power down, do everything, full confidence, not necessarily looking to throw like super far. I just want to get that like that upper end of power. Like I want to feel like that's efficient and I'm not like gonna shank it one way or the other.
Keeping the accuracy as we go up.
Yeah.
What's your? I know we played together, but what do you feel like is like your top end distance where you like are accurate and then like start to fall off?
370, 80, 90. Okay. Like I can throw a decent normal hyzer flip to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's when I'm going for 400 stuff like that. Like the gunite hole was an obvious example of like I can clear that, but what I was noticing is I was throwing a lot of my hard shots and I was getting that like nose down slight right miss, hitting the last 10, 15 feet of gunite super hard, and it's like I have plenty of power, I'm just not quite smoothing that shot to a spot where I want it to.
Know the angle all the way through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, so I already kind of thought of a few things maybe from when we were playing, but I just want to watch you throw a couple and then like film a few and then we'll like break into some stuff.
If helpful too, like if I'm playing in the woods, my normal run up is just like a sidestep, but if I am going for power, this is one thing I split a few years ago, I do kind of like do the like bunny hop into it.
For sure.
I don't know if that's helpful, but in my mind it's almost two separate throws.
Okay.
So the normal this stuff, like that, I think it's the same base mechanics either way.
Yeah.
That's when I'm slowing down and going accurate. I can change things in that. I know there's probably the same, like bracing is a big thing, getting more from like core and lower half is a big thing.
Yeah.
That kind of translates to both throws.
Yeah.
Which throw do you think I should lean into today?
Or
a mix of
both?
both?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
But I just want to see the regular one first.
Regular, okay. Just like mid-ranges, straight, normal stuff?
Yeah, like, do you have a little bit of everything?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just start with the slow stuff. Like
there's nothing crazy beefy, there's nothing crazy flipping in here. It's a lot of just straight,
just
normal.
Like start with the putters and like move our way up. If you want to toss one, let's like just toss one disc down to like have
just a singular point?
One set point to go from, probably.
All right, what don't I want to throw? Resistors.
Yeah, maybe just like the fastest disc you have, because that'll be the last one to throw anyway. Or okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And then let's just like still keep an aim point. Let's just go that right goalpost.
Yeah.
For kind of target line.
Okay.
And then you're like a pretty flat, slight hyzer guy, right?
Yeah, I'm comfortable. Like I tell people, like I feel like they're my three angles. I can throw more extreme stuff if I need to, but if I can aim straight and throw straight, like that's typically what I'm doing.
What's your like when you throw power, do you have an angle that you feel like you like more?
If I'm throwing power and I'm really ripping into it, I feel like I want to throw a bit hyzer, because again, I'm used to pulling things slightly as well. When I throw hard, it's like if I'm aiming here, I'm going to hit here, which is fine. So I'll typically aim a little left, throw a little hyzer on it to compensate.
Yeah.
And that used to work for the last 10 years and just hasn't.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Okay, sounds good. I'll just watch you throw a couple. And
sure.
We'll kind of go from there.
That is a beefy anode. I'll throw straighter stuff.
And I'm fine with, like, I don't really care about the disc going in either direction.
That's fine. There's hole one.
Yep. I know you mentioned, like, a little bit of like left to right misses when you start to power up. Do you feel like one of those is, and you said you have that slight pull, but do you feel like that turnover pull is the most common miss when you power up, or is it kind of equally both?
60-40.
Okay.
Yeah, the pull is often there, and it's low, and it's like I'm not even getting distance on it. Like it's coming in with speed left and stuff like that.
Okay.
And the other pull was like, okay, I'm aiming here and I'm going here.
Yeah.
So okay, I can compensate for that and get through it.
I'm gonna film this one.
Sure.
Okay, whenever you're ready. I'm gonna film one more back here. Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
You can.
Yeah.
Maybe let's get
I know
the
we got
shade a little bit here.
brightness to fight with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things. First kind of major thing that I notice is, especially I feel like when you throw harder, it's not as apparent on your short shots, but when you throw harder, you really like have a lot of tilt with your upper body going forward as you pull through.
Okay.
So see this position?
So I'm coming, like everything's coming together?
Yeah, so like this position right here.
Yeah.
Notice how like you're like
I'm
like,
lurched out in
you're
front.
like completely forward.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of where the misses come in with the powering up, but I think it's also just losing you power, because obviously, you know, like any power thrower that you see, it just seems like they're like almost like purely rotating in their throw. As soon as you bring in that little bit of tilt, whether it's on the way back, I think it's more common for people on the way back, they do like this thing. You see a lot of AMs doing that. You don't do that. Like, you have a pretty like solid rotation on the reach back, but when you go to pull through, you're like trying to get the energy into it, and so you tilt forward. So I think that's probably the first thing, or the main thing.
So should that be nearly upright?
Yeah, so right here, like, basically it should just be a straight line.
Okay.
From the center of your legs all the way up through your head. Like that, and it should just be, again, like a pure rotation there in the follow through. And I just want to go over a couple more things first, and then we'll work on some things. The other things that I'm seeing that are like kind of leaking you power is, one is your kind of shoulder turn on your reach back. I think there's more room for you to rotate, especially like this left side, and like pull that towards the target when you go to reach back.
Really open
like
that.
I feel like it's like a little bit like less engaged than it could be.
Are you thinking like I'm coming here, or I'm just kind of coming here? Does that make sense? Am I?
Yeah, you're more
both shoulders open, or which one are you kind of more seeing?
I mean, you're reaching pretty well with the right one, and it's not like a super like over exaggerated, but like you're like about like you're like here.
Yeah.
Where like I want
have
you to be
room to be more open with that.
Basically just engaging your back here, and that left elbow kind of pulling that towards the target when you like, you know, like Drew, or like even myself, like when I throw, is like when I go to like reach back, I feel like I'm like really here, and then it gives you a little bit more room, but
left side's just a little lazy. It's not like actively backwards. Yeah.
And then like with that too, I think there's some room to just like extend the arm just a little bit more. So like the peak reach back position, I think there's a little bit more room to get out of it.
When, again, I can point back to pre-Worlds, pre-fucking up my wrist. I could remember before that there was a time when I felt like I would get to the apex of that reach back and be like, oh yeah, like there is room to move and things like that. And I think I've almost closed down because I was doing so much other compensating, and I was trying to get power the other way because the wrist wasn't firing, and I had to like force stuff onto weird lines for a little while that built some of that back.
Yeah, and then the last thing is, and it's like kind of funny because even you were just doing it there, of when you were like asking about your shoulder turn, is you naturally like are turning your back foot away from the target. Back foot. I'll show you, but like it's just making your hips open up too much away. Yeah. Where it's actually making it so your shoulders and hips are going together. There's no separation. So you're going shoulders and hips both rotate back together, and then shoulders and hips both rotate forward together. Where we want it to be more like the hips load slightly, but then mostly like the shoulders are rotating on the way back. So there's that,
interesting.
So there's that separation, because then you get the lower body can fire early, create that a big stretch in the core, you create that lag, and then everything has to catch up in the upper body. And I think it's mostly just foot position. Like you can see here, like your X step foot is just slightly pointed backwards, and you can see here, like in your hips, like your hips turn quite a bit back, like more so than most power players turn their hips backwards. And it's like not as big of a separation from the hips to the shoulders as I'd like to see. So I know. Like
so that would be this back foot being just more 90 degrees, or where do you kind of want that 90 degrees ish?
Yeah, basically.
So that's here.
Yeah, both feet
and then,
to be
so that's
both feet to be horizontal.
Okay.
Basically is what we want.
Yeah, that's a better base.
And
for
it's especially like as you're going to X step, it's like making sure that you're almost trying to point your X step foot towards the target as you're going to X step. Because obviously you can't like actually do this. Like that's kind of impossible. But as long as you're getting like some sort of internal rotation there, then it makes it so like you can't open up your hips too much if your back foot is 90 degrees like this.
But
so
otherwise
then from here you then can like feel your hips rotate back as much as you want. But see, I'm not like as turned around as if I'm here.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
We're just
unbalanced too.
Letting those hips load back, and then I think a big focus for us is just going to be one, the way you're getting to the reach back, feeling much more like rotation, like I said, feeling this left shoulder be what activates your reach back.
Yeah.
Like that pulling towards the target is going to activate the reach back, because then if you get that engaged, you can reach as much as you want with this right side, and you're not going to like tilt. And then on the way through, almost exactly the opposite of that is we want to feel almost this right shoulder pulling away from the target as we go to pull through.
Okay, say that one more time.
So feeling the right shoulder pulling away from the target as you go to pull through. Whereas right now, you get to your reach back, and then your right shoulder
I'm lunging the fuck into it forward, kind of.
Your right shoulder is like pulling down the line.
Yeah.
You're like pulling to the target with your shoulder to pull through. I want that shoulder pulling away from the target as you go to pull through.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That's going to take a minute, but I understand the principle, and I can see that forward, that forward piece.
So, just to make it a little more simple, let's just throw some standstills
to
start. Because I think most of the issues, obviously there's the little bit of lower body thing just with the foot alignment, which I think we can work on in the standstill too. But mostly it's just upper body stuff.
Yes.
So let's just throw some standstills and kind of grind out those feelings, and then we could probably work into some run-ups too.
Yeah.
So just set up in what would be kind of your natural standstill, and then I'm going to adjust you. Yeah. So like obviously that's what you'd throw for like a regular like putter standstill, but because we're like drilling a full throw, I actually want to have you like a little bit wider. So that's going to be your front foot. Can I just grab any one of these basically? Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be your front foot, and I want your back foot.
Toes on those?
Yeah, toes on these.
Okay.
Back foot is probably going to be a little bit more like that, maybe even just slightly wider than that. There. Yep.
Okay.
And then make sure this back foot is just a little bit more.
I'm still going to keep, I'm going to creep back into what's
with that width,
natural there.
It's going to be tough. Like you're definitely when you're setting up, make sure that you're setting up like that. And then from here, just a good athletic stance.
Okay.
And then I want just similar to what you're throwing in your full run up, like that 80% throw.
So a bit of I'm thinking like rock back and drive into it? Or do you want to be kind of based where I'm at?
I want you to be fairly based. You can definitely do like a little bit of a rock,
but
I don't
not
want like the
100
coming up, or anything like that.
Okay.
And then from here, especially, I want to just focus mainly on the reach back to start. Is when you're going to reach back, I want a pull in this left shoulder blade, and a pull with this elbow towards the target, and then really reaching, especially locking out this elbow at peak reach back. There.
Okay.
Now let's just start with that. Throw a couple shots that way.
All right.
And still, let's still keep in mind our target line.
Yeah.
That right goalpost.
I felt like I didn't transfer much forward with that.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying not to lunge forward too.
Yep. And if you can, let's try to go for full follow throughs too.
Okay.
And the way you're getting to reach back,
yeah,
I don't want it to be like you're like pushing the disc back and then pulling it forward. I want it to be more of like a stretch and a load backwards.
Okay.
So, you know, like the same muscles you're going to pull through, like your back and your tricep and your core when you go to pull through is obviously kind of what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to use those muscles or resist those muscles on the way back.
Mm-hmm.
So as opposed to like using your chest, pushing it back,
right,
and then pulling with your back on the way through, I want you like resisting the way back.
And that's gonna take a minute. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Back foot, just a second.
Okay.
And notice even there, when you go to load up and you do that rock,
yeah,
you turn both feet back completely.
Okay.
So I want those feet to stay pretty solid. I want you to really feel the rotation in your core.
Okay.
Here. So like, let's just do a couple, like stand, like hips stay completely still and just rotate your shoulders backwards.
Yeah. One thing that's thrown me, I feel like I'm slightly out too far.
Okay.
Can I bring that in just slightly? That I think that would feel like 30% more natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then just square. You don't have to throw this disc.
Okay.
Just do one where not even moving your hips at all. Just rotate your shoulders. So let's just put the disc down for a second.
Yeah.
Disc down. Purely just rotate the shoulders as much as you can. Really feel the stretch in the core.
Yeah.
Keep those hips solid.
Maybe it's just
feel that.
Maybe it's just hip and core mobility that I'm feeling right now.
And that's better. But are you like feeling that
Yeah.
here?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want you to feel on the way back.
Okay.
So I don't want no resistance when you go back. Because if you just rotate the hips, like I can get my shoulders turned around completely by just rotating my hips, and I don't feel anything here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to feel it all in my core. Especially for you, you're so hip dominant.
Yeah.
When you go back, that I want
my hips are trying really hard to be a big part of the throw, and
exactly.
I'm doing too much.
So I want to resist that. I want it to be all shoulder rotation, and then you can let the hips kind of like float a little bit.
Yeah.
At peak reach back, but I don't want it to be like a hip dominant
okay.
reach back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
And it's gonna be.
It's relearning. Weird. This is the weird part. Yeah. Okay.
All right. And you can grab a disc now.
All right.
You try to keep your feet almost as solid as possible until you go to actually follow through.
Okay.
Nice.
That one felt a little better.
Yep.
All right, driver land.
A little more athletic on the stance.
Yeah, I feel like I am just upright and only doing a triangle and a twist on top of it.
Yeah, so still get nice and low with the lower body.
Yeah, feeling a little more natural, slightly.
I want you to really over-exaggerate this core rotation.
Okay.
And then with that, you know, to get to that core rotation, I want this shoulder going there.
Okay, more.
So, yeah, hip kind of resisting the turn.
Okay.
And then feeling that shoulder to help rotate.
Yeah, that does. I like that position. It does feel better.
Yep.
I would say it always feels like, too, I'm kind of just tossing my body up in the air and then trying to fire everything really last minute.
Yeah.
And I've gotten okay at it, but it's not powerful.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, good. Really feel that stretch.
Rotate back.
Good.
Yeah, that felt better. I feel like I kind of pulled it across instead of dropping it forward, but maybe a little too upright too.
Really keep those feet solid as much as you can. Because you have this tendency, you do the rock back and you bring your toe up, and then you go forward, and by the time you're actually throwing, both your feet are like almost completely turned around. Good.
I like the feel of that one. All right, I'm just trying to get my trying to find balance.
Let's just try to find try to keep everything same plane as the ground.
Okay.
So, you know, disc is just going to stay on this level the whole time,
Yeah.
and we're just rotating around that center of gravity.
Okay.
Better.
That felt good.
Yep. Really feel that stretch in the core.
Okay. Yeah, that's not terrible of a position. I'm just trying to feel all the different parts.
Yep.
That didn't feel too far off. Okay. I feel like I'm going up and over a little bit. I have a tendency, I feel like I'm throwing my upper body still a bit, but...
Yep. Remember, for that reach back, resist back. Like really stretch there. I don't want you just shoving it back and then pulling it through.
Yeah. And that's what I've noticed too, is my back and forward are just forward. It's just equal. It's not actually like a load up. It's kind of a...
Let's try, let's feel like almost what it seems like it almost seems like you're going back on like a 1 count and then through on a 1 count.
That's what, yeah,
you know,
that's what it feels like.
1, 1. Where I want it to be more like 1, 2, 1.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Good.
Yeah, that feels a lot better.
That's great. I even noticed, I mean, already I feel like I noticed a little different sound coming out.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
and that's what it feels like too. Like I feel like I'm trying to guess when to like lunge and toss everything into it, as opposed to it just being natural and
like letting it,
opening it up at the point where it wants to come out.
For sure.
All right, slow back, fast forward.
1, 2, 1. Nice. Good.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Still pulling over a little bit, but I'm not mad at it. For new timing, not terrible.
I want to add in one little thing with the reach back. So we're doing like the 1, 2, 1 for the timing. So you're doing 1, 2 back. When you get to peak reach back, I want you to feel just like the slightest pause.
Okay.
And let it set. So like you're getting 90% of the way to your reach back, and then you're just going like boom and like trying to pull it, and so you're getting like a little bit of like inconsistency there at the peak reach back, which is common for like trying to power up. You know, you like get here and then you're trying to just like
let's send it.
Rip it. So, have you played golf at all? Or?
Only a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like in golf, they talk about like you bring the club up, let it set, and then let everything work together on the way through.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Is I want to get to peak reach back, so we're going like 1, 2, set, and then pull through.
More baseball for me, but I played like one summer of golf and got like way into playing really bad. Had a lot of fun with it.
For sure.
Is the reach back amount, am I getting to a decent spot, or would you say further, shorter, up, down, anything else that you're feeling? It doesn't feel too bad, but it feels
I think,
a little indescript.
Like,
just
you have
the motion
little
of it.
bit of room, so like you tend to be like here.
Yeah, if you want to lock out.
I just want to go like full lockout, because if you get to that full, I mean, obviously you see
it's
a
a
lot
stopping
of good,
point where everybody can get
players
there. Yeah.
like do the bent arm, but I just feel like you have to throw like that for such a long time to add any consistency with it. I just feel like no matter the distance, if you can lock out the elbow, then you're gonna get to that.
And lockout is lockout every time, as opposed to being somewhere in
in between. Exactly.
Okay.
That back foot a little more horizontal. There you go.
How can I train that? I need to get some type of something that helps me feel that. Yeah, I just need to, I think, partly feel it in the heel a little bit and not be so much like
like
loaded
you do have
up here.
A tendency to be up on the toe.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're there. Okay.
Yeah, that looks good. Yes.
Yeah, that felt mostly there on the follow through too.
I love that tempo though. Like the reach back, the pause, and then go. That looks great.
It feels natural too. It feels familiar. Like I've kind of been, I've been there a little bit before, so it's not a completely foreign feeling. Yeah, that just feels so much better.
Good. Good.
Yeah, that just feels like old good mechanics. All right, I'll pay you. We're done.
Okay, let's go a little more. On this one, I want you to over-exaggerate the peak reach back position. I want you to really pull that shoulder back and
open.
really reach and extend with this arm.
Yeah, without full. That's my tendency. My tendency is to reach and throw my entire body weight there.
So that's where that left side comes into play. Because if your offside is only getting to here, then as soon as you start reaching with this side, you're leaning. Whereas if you continue to pull this side back as you're reaching with this side, it just gets you into a deeper rotation.
And would I be correct, typically, if you're doing a lower speed, like you're throwing a 70% shot, you're only reaching back here. If you're doing a 100% shot, that's when you are opening up more.
And this is kind of
and that's been my tendency, right, is to slow down and not get full spot, because I don't know what I'm doing with it as it's coming forward.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and so, if I'm throwing like a putter shot 200 feet from a standstill, like I'm still extending my arm all the way, but I'm only
the reach back is coming to
I'm only rotating to here. It's like I'm not like doing this on like a short shot. And you naturally already have that.
So for
trying to increase that top
the last 6 months, I've been stopping here because I'm not doing anything with that last little bit. So I just got to get back to the,
Really try to keep those feet solid. Really, I think for you, like, just like planting those heels in.
I think this back heel especially. I'm tending to be up here. It doesn't really matter if I'm here. It's all gonna just move around if it's mushy. It's just I have to have more of a base there.
Yeah, and I think both feet too, because as soon as you do that,
I'm gonna make new potholes just so them.
Sounds good. As soon as you do that little rock back, you go up on the toe on the front foot as well. So I think just like really planting and being solid. With the base. Like I don't want you
and let the cores move.
Lifting up it at all. Like just get a little lower and just stay solid.
I think part of it too, and you were mentioning this earlier, I'm leaking a lot of power out through that. Through kind of just being mushy with it, and I need to feel based and let the power come out. On the throw and on the upper body opening and releasing, rather than it just kind of turning into the ground.
You're not like transferring any of that upward.
This is feeling more or less right. That's up a little bit. That feels natural to me. Is it okay to come up a little bit as that's coming back, or would you plant that?
As long as you're staying neutral there. Where I think it's an issue is when you go up to reach back and you're doing this. So as long
I'm 100. I'm like 100.
Yeah.
Essentially on the back. Okay.
So again, I want most of the reach back feeling in the core. So like really stretch that core, get those shoulders rotating more so than the hips.
Okay.
Still get nice and low to start with.
Yeah, that's the feeling that I'm kind of struggling with, is how to keep the legs in it without dancing up on them a little bit.
Yeah.
Felt okay. I didn't quite transfer on that one though.
It wasn't quite as intentional of a peak reach back as I'd like. I want you to do that. 1, 2, set, go.
Slow back. Stared at it all the way back.
I want basically for your head to not move off of this.
Okay.
So I want you to just rotate around here.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be very odd.
This is the thumbnail right here. All right. So I won't even look forward with it. I'll just try to weight shift.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want that type of feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want the
There might be a bit of
drifting. Like
a bit of stuff.
With a little bit of head rotation.
I think part of it right now is I'm doing all of this too. I'm doing too much. Yeah.
For sure. So just like a little bit quieter with the head. I'm just going to put it here again.
Okay. Want to get my tempo a little bit better.
Yep.
Looked way back on that one. Can do less.
But that's just the feeling I want.
Yeah.
I want the feeling of the head's not really moving at all.
Yeah.
We're still doing all the same stuff, but you're just rotating around that point. The head doesn't shift any forward or back at all in space.
Okay.
Just rotating back, rotating through. Good.
I'm feeling naturally, like without even trying, I'm getting that like heel opening here.
Yeah.
And I feel like before I was kind of just like stomp landing on it and then almost just like hopping off.
Totally.
Like I'm actually getting it.
Well, and I think a big
the weight's
piece of that
shifting better.
Is like with that shift, like when you were going to pull through, here.
I was almost catching myself.
You cannot rotate here. Your weight has to be behind that front foot to have any sort of rotation.
And I was noticing with that, I was like catching myself and almost like hopping off of a T-pad as opposed to like rotating and opening.
Yep.
And I've seen some people that only like rotate and open, but I was the opposite extreme. More heel. Yeah, I think I'm coming forward here almost in that reach as I'm kind of shifting forward, and I need to sit back more neutral.
Yeah, just quiet feet. The feet don't really need to move at all. Nice.
Felt pretty good.
Yeah, looks great. I mean, I just like the sound difference that we've had too. Like,
I think I just want to feel the disc in there, right?
Yeah.
And I think I was like,
for sure. Yeah.
Well, had a lot of extra.
To do so many things to add power that like we're almost more like muscling it.
Completely.
As opposed to just like actually letting your body accelerate.
Completely.
Easier.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Quiet feet I think was a good cue for me of just like. Let him just be a base. Don't do so much.
Good. Great. I want you to be a little bit lower to start.
Yeah. Okay.
Like almost feel like just like sit down a little bit. Yeah.
So more in the quads and just like this part, and less
like
in the
butt,
hamstring.
Like butt sitting back. Like I don't, because like if you're here, like I don't want you doing this, like where you're like over your toes. Like I want almost being like a back squat. You know, like if you're doing a back squat, like you're like sitting down into it a little bit. So like I want that butt, like the butt going back a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like that too feels better with the core as opposed to just like coring from there. Okay. Yeah, this feels better. And honestly, it's getting my feet down just by
more solid.
Feeling that way, yeah.
Totally.
That felt great.
Great. Yeah, that's money. I want you to get even a little lower.
Okay.
I want you to go as low as is comfortable.
I'll make it extreme. Like I'm in decent enough shape I can go too far and then kind of come back if I need to. So.
Good. Lower body looked great. Little more control on the reach back.
It felt that was more one. Felt more 1-1.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna exaggerate low and then figure out where the happy medium is.
Good.
Upper body timing wasn't great on that one, but it was close.
Start low. 1-2 on the way back. That head in one place. Yeah.
That felt great.
There we go.
Yeah, I can feel like I'm actually getting weight again onto the front foot without throwing my body onto the front foot.
Yeah, I think those three cues are the main ones that have been really helpful so far.
Yeah.
I think the getting lower just helps quiet your feet anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, the quiet the feet.
Because I can't do this, but I want to be down in here.
But the getting low helps quiet the feet.
Mm-hmm.
The tempo naturally helps you rotate more. It just gets everything timed up well, and then keeping the head in one place kind of ties it all together.
That makes so that I'm not just completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just do those three things: low, good tempo, head in one place. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good repeatable shot. That felt good. I feel like I'm at like a 50% with just like half of my shots feel good and half of them are like, no, one of those pieces is still kind of reverting a little bit.
That's the thing, is it's just going to take time. But the fact that
for sure.
A lot of these are looking very good.
And I've got a month until tournament, so it's like I'm excited to.
Yeah.
A few days a week of field work, a little bit of rest, and. Yeah, I can just feel that loosening now. Just sitting down in the feet, it feels better. I feel like I'm less guessing and.
Totally.
All right, we got friends. So that was a big old slow dip. So I need to keep it online. Not quite in time, but not terrible.
Yep. This tempo was fast.
Okay.
Get low. 1, 2, set.
And you were talking earlier about kind of leaving it there. I remember that feeling from before too when my drive felt good.
Yeah.
It felt like you could kind of just lock in and then you're having like, not that you're doing a bunch of steps, but you can just leave it there and then snap as you get to the point where you need to snap. I feel like I'm introducing a little bit of a dip when I'm doing a slow reach back, and I kind of want to keep it online a little bit more.
Same plane as the ground.
Got some guests. That's a good line.
That's great. That was a great throw too. I love that one.
Sit more. My timing wasn't perfect, but the rest of that just felt really natural.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's looking easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not looking like as you're putting it.
It's getting out of here a little bit, and it's kind of just sinking into the.
I mean, really, what we're doing is we're just trying to simplify.
Yeah.
Like we're honestly just taking pieces out. We're just trying to make it as easy as possible.
That's what I learned, like in my putting, and that's what I learned in other stuff too. Like I found myself putting wise, I was doing all this extra stuff like that, and I was like, if I just kind of stand up and just kind of
just
do it. Like it's not that hard to put. It's not that hard to throw. Like it's just finding that motion so that your arm can swing.
Yeah, it's just like let it get it to a place to where it can just be intuitive.
Yeah.
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 Back foot.
Yeah. I want to sit more.
Yep.
I came across that one a little bit, but I liked a lot of the other parts of it. I felt like it was slightly timing and slightly coming past it.
Anytime for you, especially when you're powering up, but anytime for you when you're missing right, you're like turning it over and you're going right, you're doing this.
Oh, it's still a lunge. It's the lunge coming through.
It's there, yeah.
Okay, I'll watch that. I'm gonna see if I can feel it more in the feet part, because I feel like that's the newest feeling part of everything, is actually feeling like I'm based a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I keep that on the front part, that I'm actually.
Well, I think
it's partly I think brace instead of just
you just did it. You said I want to feel it more like this. Like I want you to be upright, head in one place the whole time.
And then I should say maybe feel it more like this, then feel it more like this.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I need that cam here of just keeping track of this part, and I get an electric shock anytime that I get into that spot.
Exactly.
Okay, this actually feels better of sitting back there a little bit. And I'm coming forward some.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try to really work on that front rotation and see how that feels. I want to make sure I'm opening up too, that I'm not lunging down.
Yep. Better.
Yeah, and I mean, I opened up. That feels a lot more.
Whatever that feeling was.
Yeah.
It kept you so much more vertical.
Yeah.
So
I think I've got to just swing that part, because I think I'm getting to here, and I'm just trying to dropping with the body as it's coming, as opposed to rotating like a top.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Sit with it. Medium, because I can still feel like I'm pitched forward a bit, but that's, again, I'm getting a lot more pop.
Yep. Let's try one. I just want to try this feeling. Is, like baseball, here, you're almost on the back foot when they're following through.
Right.
I want you to try that. Where instead of shifting the weight forward, trying to shift the weight forward, I want you to try to almost like stay on your back foot longer. Like, yeah, do
okay.
Almost that thing.
So, yeah, I think that'll keep my weight. My weight's going to feel a little bit further. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sit low to start.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I popped up a little bit, but that was, it's a new position. That felt okay.
With that.
That felt
like,
okay.
The pop up is like, that's correctable just with like reps.
Oh, for sure.
But that got you staying here
for
as
sure.
opposed to here.
Dropping all the way, yeah. Out of.
Yes.
That felt really good.
That had something on it.
Yeah, that felt really good.
I love that one.
And again, I think for me too, and this is where my natural throw I can kind of correct, is just getting that last hit point and figuring out how to like find that. And that might vary a little bit day to day. That'll be the differences between a few feet
for sure
in flight, but that's the one part that I've got something new to discover there too. But I want to get I want to get the basis started first, and I'm feeling like we're making progress already. All right, get that. I'm just trying to be conscious of this heel and actually have weight back down on it. Yeah, that's just good flight. Did you notice anything on that one? I didn't do as much with the back leg there.
Yeah,
I lurched.
Okay. Forward tilt. Yeah.
Okay.
Better. Yeah, so I
stayed more upright on that one, but I'm trying to figure out how to. I'm almost figuring out how to like brace it a little bit. I think.
Yeah.
And actually use the brace as opposed to just.
For sure.
Lunging
over it for a second.
Okay.
Just go to peak reach back. So when you go to pull through, so like this is your reach back. When you go to pull through, I want this to be the feeling. Whereas right now you're more of like this.
Yeah, I'm getting everything
you're
forward.
Like shifting that shoulder forward.
So
I
again,
want you like pulling that shoulder back.
More of a quicker, speedy core rotation.
Like, just like on the reach back when we're like trying to feel this going more towards the target. When you're going to pull through, I want this feeling like it's going away from the target.
Okay. So get that shoulder clear quickly. Okay.
Not necessarily quick, but like a slow pull of pulling away from the target. I mostly just want to get away from any sort of right shoulder shifting down the line and more like rotating and like clearing out to the right.
I'm trying to go by feeling too. Is it sort of a slow to fast? Is it sort of a smoothness?
I think
maybe it's going to vary person by person. I'm just trying to get the because I feel like right now I'm manually telling it to do it, so I'm trying to decide how.
Well, I think that you did it a little bit earlier with just like feeling like you were ripping through with that arm, or like following through more with that arm. I think like that's kind of the feeling, but I want to get that side pulling away as you're going to pull through.
Okay.
Not letting it shift forward, kind of clearing it out behind you. Much better.
Yeah, and I feel like my body position, I'm a hair forward, but I'm going to go forward a bit, so that felt a lot better. Don't feel like we have to do this whole box either if we're pushing time too.
No, we're fine. I don't have anything after this.
Okay.
I love this, so.
I was a little lazier on the upper body. I feel like I had a bit more in the tank.
The timing was a little quick on the way back.
Oh, quick back. Interesting. Yeah, I'm starting to feel the new muscle usage.
For sure. Let's go low. Let's do another one of like feeling that like that almost that like baseball swing of like like pushing away, like trying to stay on the back foot more.
Okay. No, I really lunged on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, opposite. What, can you say more on that baseball swing thing? Because I do have like right-handed batting, of like driving that and bringing that through.
So
but maybe my baseball swing is wrong too, because I do all kinds of hips when I baseball swing.
But more what I'm like the hips is good on the way through. Like like baseball swing is like this. Like here. but see like how planted I am with that
okay.
front leg. So that's what I'm trying to get. Is
so
more
it's
of like the weight, like as you go to rotate, your weight is almost shifting this way, at like almost going back against the target.
I get what you mean.
As opposed to as you're rotating, going towards the target.
Throwing all your weight forward versus throwing, like getting it, the transfer.
Yeah. Almost feel like the weight is like going away from the target.
Interesting.
As you're rotating.
Okay. I'm almost now wanting to just stay back and like respect my brace the entire time, because again, I had such a tendency to do so much on it. So this is getting into the weird feeling part, but it's good.
Yeah, I like for you just like the getting low to start with.
Yeah.
And then that gets you into a good position. Good. Yeah, I think you just have such a tendency to shift everything forward as you go to pull through. So it's just like doing everything we can to resist that.
Keep the...
Like feel like everything is going against where you're trying to throw the disc. Good.
Yeah, that felt kind of effortless. That felt... And I think too, that's something that I'll watch, and I'll take maybe a day off and then field work this out a bunch, is just making sure my weight and everything is not on that trajectory, because I think that's such my missing tendency.
Yeah, and when you're practicing, like when you go to the field, set up a camera like right where I'm at.
Yeah.
And like just on your phone and record every throw and just throw one and then watch it. Because obviously I'm here to tell you every single time, but you'll be able to easily see, like you'll throw a shot and you'll see yourself like completely shifting and be like, okay, let's correct that. And like literally, like I don't care if the fieldwork session takes an hour and you throw 30 shots. Like, right. I want every single one to be intentional.
Right, for sure.
Good.
I want to open up more. I'm lunging it just a hair on that, but I like most of that.
I still love, like, that flight's great and it sounds good.
Medium.
Yeah,
Still.
You didn't get all the way deep into that.
Okay, it's the back of it. Interesting.
Get all the way to that full extension.
Partly committed.
Yeah.
Oh, visitors. I want to really get that swing through feeling too, and just the weight back in.
Yeah.
All right, we got a clear one.
Good. Get low to start. Lower. There you go.
Didn't match front to back there quite.
Yep. Everyone really focusing on tempo. 1, 2, pause, go. We'll rotate against it. Good.
That one felt pretty good.
Yep. That back foot. There you go.
I'm just trying to avoid like the slow reach back being really droopy, because I know that can bring in a whole bunch of different extra timing stuff. That was 1 and 1.
Yep.
Timing was goofy.
Don't step off one and reset.
Yeah. I'm also feeling just the
the
tiredness
90,
of hips being
throws.
slightly, yeah. I can do 90 throws. Like, I'll do a fieldwork session between like 100 and 150, and that's like plenty.
The 90 throws of new stuff.
Yes. Yes, that part is wearing for sure. Just a beefy putter, and I can feel how lunged I am.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't let anything shift forward.
Okay. I'm gonna try to put power on this one too, since we're down to the last few.
So good.
Yeah, it's feeling better. I feel like I'm fighting, a little bit of fatigue too as I'm going too, so I'm trying to
Let's just call that
be fully committed. Okay. Deal.